She had built an empire from nothing, yet every corner of her luxurious penthouse felt emptier than the last. Isabella Marlowe, a one-legged billionaire CEO, moved through her life with precision and control, commanding boardrooms with a sharp mind and unyielding resolve. Yet beneath the tailored suits and polished shoes, there was a hollow loneliness that no amount of wealth could fill. Every night, she looked at the framed photos of grand opening ceremonies, awards and magazine covers, testaments to her success. But there was never anyone waiting with a smile at her door. She was always alone, living in a world that admired her accomplishments but never touched the real person inside. Then, on a grey morning that mirrored her mood, a new figure appeared in her life in the most unexpected way. His name was Mason Hart, a single dad working as the building's janitor. Tall, quietly confident, and carrying an aura of simple goodness, he moved through the hallways with an ease that made people underestimate him. But Mason had a way of seeing the world that others often missed, noticing small details, small struggles, and small hearts crying silently for attention. Isabella first noticed him when he held the elevator for her without a word, and somehow that tiny gesture felt monumental, like the universe had finally sent someone to break the heavy silence around her. Isabella had always maintained strict boundaries. She believed in self-reliance and hated feeling vulnerable. Her accident, which had taken her leg in a car crash years ago, had forced her to adapt, but it had also erected walls between her and the rest of the world. Relationships had always seemed impossible, dangerous even, because showing weakness was a risk she could not afford. But Mason, with his gentle eyes and a tired smile shaped by years of sacrifice for his young daughter, somehow did not trigger fear or skepticism in her. Instead, he sparked a strange warmth she hadn't felt in years. At first, their interactions were brief, almost incidental. He'd sweep the lobby with meticulous care, and she would pass by, nodding politely. Then came the day when her office coffee machine broke, and Mason quietly offered to fix it. He worked swiftly, effortlessly, chatting about his daughter's first school play, as though he were narrating a story of someone else's life. Isabella watched him from behind her glass door, the corners of her mouth twitching in a smile she hadn't dared to release in years. There was no pressure, no expectation, only a calm, comforting presence she hadn't known she needed. The turning point came on a rainy evening. Isabella had stayed late, buried in contracts and emails, her head aching, her body exhausted. She tried to leave quietly, but her wheelchair malfunctioned at the worst moment, leaving her stuck in the lobby. Mason appeared almost instantly, drenched from the rain, lifting the chair with surprising strength. He didn't just rescue her physically, he reminded her that someone could see her struggle without judgment, without calculating advantage, without expectation. In that moment, Isabella understood that she could let someone in. That connection did not diminish her independence, and that maybe, just maybe, she was ready for a new chapter she had never dared to imagine. From that day forward, their bond grew in ways neither of them could have predicted. Mason's presence gradually filled the corners of her world that money and power never could. Isabella began to let him into spaces she had always guarded fiercely, her office, her penthouse, even her heart. And Mason, in turn, found a kindred spirit who respected his fatherhood, valued his insights, and appreciated the sacrifices he made daily for his daughter, Lily. Together they navigated the delicate balance of their worlds, her high-stakes empire and his humble yet deeply meaningful life. It was not an instantaneous fairy tale. There were fears, moments of doubt, and nights when past scars threatened to unravel the fragile trust between them. But every act of kindness, every shared smile, every silent understanding reinforced a bond stronger than either could have anticipated. Isabella, the one-legged CEO who had walked alone through life, discovered the transformative power of genuine love and connection. And Mason, the single dad who carried the weight of another life on his shoulders, discovered the joy of being seen, cherished and respected. Their story was a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary connections come in the simplest forms. It taught them and everyone around them that kindness, patience, and quiet courage could heal wounds that wealth and status never could. And it all began with small gestures, unwavering presence, and the courage to let someone into a heart that had long been closed off. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Tales of Kindness. And if you've ever experienced the quiet power of genuine connection, let the world know by sharing your thoughts in the comments below.